But then when you feel comfortable, you can just relax, you know, loosen the tension in your body and be like, okay, I'm going to follow what my dance instructor, Joelle, is telling me to do. And I don't mind doing it in front of some so-and-so because I know them. And I know they're nice. And I know they're my friend.
Yeah, yeah.
What's going on, guys? It's Joel Casanova, your favorite mobile dance educator. If you don't know what a mobile dance educator is, I basically go to other people to teach them instead of having like a studio or a brick and mortar place for myself, because I believe that dance is more for the people and the bodies than it is for the building, right? So anyone should be able to access quality dance education anywhere they are. Okay, so the Behind the Dance Talk Show, the entire season 2 is centered around dance as a tool. Okay? I would say that dance is the perfect tool, at least when it comes to dealing with people. So if you're trying to build like a bridge or a building, I would suggest hammers, nails, wood, concrete. That's just me. But when it comes to people, I think dancing is the perfect tool, and here's why. If you've heard me in any other interviews, or if you've been a part of one of my classes, or you've seen me or heard me go on my rants about dance in random parties or get-togethers, you'll hear this phrase, and it's that you can't walk away from the tool of dance, right? You can walk away from the piano, you can set the guitar down, you can get off the Pilates equipment, you can stop hula hooping the hula hoop. I don't know, is hula hooping the word for hula hooping? I guess, yeah. So you can stop hula hooping the hula hoop and you can walk away from it, right? But when it comes to dancing, the tool that you're using is your body, right? Even if you don't have music, right? You yourself can dance by yourself, right? If you've ever been at been really hungry and you sat down to like eat a meal and you kind of do this little jig because you're like, finally, food, right? That's dancing, right? You're moving, you're grooving to something. Like babies will sit down on the floor and start moving their body, right? And just try to get this groove going, And so there's zero separation when it comes to dance and your body. So you could say like, okay, well, I'm going to put this guitar down because this guitar is out of tune. This thing is, kind of old, or it's dirty, or it's broken, or whatever. You can apply it to any piece of equipment, but you can't do that for your body. So it forces you to kind of dive deeper into yourself. So if you're feeling like, I'm not as flexible, you can't walk away from that. And for better or for worse, it's like some people will take it and punch themselves in the face with it, and they're like, I'm not flexible, I'm not a good dancer, blah, blah, blah. But instead, you could say, this is me checking out my body and figuring out what I need, right? I dance every day in the morning, right? So I'll stretch, and then I'll just, even if I don't have time, I'll just put on one song, right? My dance coach says, get 1% better every day, right? And I've heard other people say that in business and things like that. But when it comes to dancing, it's like, one song, that's all it takes. And you're like, ooh, I'm really tight here. And so I can take time later throughout the day to stretch it out because I've told myself through my body, this is what I need, right? And then that means also for the benefit, it's like as you get, more things, as you get more tuned to your body, you're like, I did that. I was able to connect with the music. I was able to hit the splits. I was able to stretch further today more than I could. And so it's not, the guitar was in tune today. It's I have progressed a little bit further, right? Which goes to the next point is the benefits. Like once it has stopped, once dance has stopped, once you've stopped dancing, the benefits that dance gives you remain with you. Like that's the only thing that's left. right? Dance is kind of like poetry. Like once, or even speaking, like once you're done talking, there's silence, right? So once you're done dancing, like after you've done dancing, the only way to stop dancing is to stop moving your body. But the benefits that have you've gained by dancing remain with you, right? So if you were trying to like practice getting rhythm, right? You're like, oh, let me get this timing of this song, or let me, let me, like I said, flexibility. Let me like reach a little further than I did yesterday. Then you're like, okay, I got that goal. I got that, thing that I was thinking of while I was dancing. Or even if it's like, let me just kind of express myself and release these emotions, right? So I'm like feeling this something specific. I turn on a song and I'm moving to it, and then I stop. But the benefits of that timing, of that emotional expression, of that flexibility, of that looseness, right, in the morning, those stay with you, right? You still have expressed yourself, and you can go on as someone who has expressed themselves because you danced. You can move on because you feel like a limber for the rest of the day because you've danced. You feel, accomplished, like you've checked off something off your checklist if you're trying to do like a specific dance exercise because you dance, and so you feel accomplished. You as a person are accomplished as you go throughout the rest of your day. It has nothing to do with the dancing anymore. It has to do with you. So those benefits that you get, whether it's building community or whether it's connecting with someone else or whether it's whatever, any of the things that I mentioned, those continue with you, right? So I teach workshops, again, mobile dance educator. I teach workshops out of town or out of state, or I go to different studios, or I teach regular weekly classes at other studios that aren't mine. My students specifically don't meet me at a studio because I don't have a studio, nor am I a studio as the like capital S studio. They meet me in a neutral third location, right? So I rent out a space and then they meet me there, right? So they get the dance benefits there and then they leave, right? So when I go to somewhere, I'm constantly building community for other people, right? So I have one group class. It's for children, 5 to 10. I love them to death. To death, right? And they're all kids there's like 3 siblings, right? But three of them are siblings. But everyone else, like they'll know each other, but they don't really know each other, right? That's that kid that comes to my dance class, right? So my goal, one of the goals that I have besides getting them some kind of foundational hip hop skills, is building community amongst those kids. And so it's like, okay, are you talking with each other? Do you know each other's names? Are you willing to open up in front of someone else? Because again, if you don't know somebody, you're like, this is my body and I'm not sure what's going on. Again, zero separation. You're just like, eh. But then when you feel comfortable, you can just relax, loosen the tension in your body and be like, okay, I'm going to follow what my dance instructor, Joelle, is telling me to do. And I don't mind doing it in front of so-and-so because I know them. And I know they're nice. And I know they're my friend. So that's like the community that I'm building outside of my own students at other studios or when I'm teaching a workshop or a master class or whatever. So when that comes, that community happens, right? However, once those kids leave the classroom, or adults, if they're adults part of the workshop or master class, once they leave the classroom, they still know each other. They're still comfortable with each other. They might, if the little kids might like have a sleepover, or they might, go out to eat afterwards, after the master class, right? And so now because I've gained that familiarity, that comfortability, because I'm comfortable around you, right? I'm comfortable around you, the person, and I, the person, am comfortable around you. So now when we go out to eat, I don't have to be like, I don't know you anymore. Of course you know them. Of course you're comfortable around them because you got the benefit and you took it with you. Which all goes back to what I said in the beginning, which is dance is the perfect tool when it comes to people because people are the recipients, and that is the most important part of dance to begin with. So when it comes to the recipients, you're changing people. And that is the only way to change the world for the better, or for the worse, to be completely honest. But let's say we're going for the better, right? Let's say going for the better is our goal. So it's like when we change people, we're changing the world because People make up the world, right? You go to a restaurant, the restaurant isn't evil, but there might be some evil people there. The government isn't evil, but there might be some evil people in it. This dance studio might not be evil, but there might be some evil people in it, right? So when you come to it, it's like you need to change people for the better and realize, hey, you don't have to be selfish, jealous, immature, or even not caring about the people that are under you, just are greedy, right? Just there for the money, right? These are all things that hurt community, that hurt people, even the person who is greedy or immature themselves. So it's like you, the person, can get better and get out of this and separate yourself from this. Like I learned to be loving and patient with people because of dance. And now I'm loving and patient with people outside of dance because the people were who I'm being loving and patient towards. And so that's the only way to change the world. And that's why I think dance is the perfect tool. So if you're a dancer, keep dancing, right? Keep doing it. If you are trying to get better at dancing, or you're trying to like kind of dip your toe into dancing and be like, let me see if I like this, right? Don't make it complicated. Find something that you think could happen outside of dance, right? I want to lose some weight. I want to start my day off and not be so tight. I want to relax before I go to sleep. Try dancing, right? Put in some headphones, one song. Depending on what your goal is, change the song. Make sure it's something that you like, right? Because that's one of the most important parts. But if you're trying to lose weight, put up an upbeat song, something that gets you going, right? You just move. Just move. No one has to be around. You don't have to get some kind of critique. You don't have to videotape yourself. Just go off, right? You're going off. You're going off, and you're like huffing and puffing and wheezing, and you're like, oh man, right? But you enjoyed yourself, right? And then you also got some exercise in. One song. That's 3 minutes. 3 minutes on a treadmill. Instead, put on a song for 3 minutes. Or if you're trying to relax before sleep, put on a really soft song. Something that relaxes you. Something that, even gets you in your feels, right? Yeah, just a super wavy song. All the vibes, right? Sometimes I do this at night, right? I'll put on some music and I'll just get into my body and relax and push off all the stress or, worry or good things and bad things that happen in my day. I'm just me, right? I'm just here to go to sleep. And so once you've pushed it all off, you relax and you breathe. Now that you're relaxed, you can go to sleep. Instead of being like, I'm working, I'm on my phone, I'm doing all that, and now I'm going to sleep. Buh. And your eyes are like wide open and you're thinking and your mind's going 1,000 miles an hour and you're like, whoa, why don't you relax first before you actually go to sleep, right? So people are the most important thing. So you are the most important part. Really, that all comes down to it. And all the things that dance can provide you, all are for you, right? Dance is a tool. It's not the end-all, be-all of dancing itself. Now, here's an example. I like to get real specific on why dance is the perfect tool. So, I was homeschooled growing up, right? So when I am now ex-homeschooled, I guess you could say, I'm a college graduate. I have like a soft spot in my heart for homeschooling and homeschool co-ops and things like that. So like a couple weeks ago, oh man, it's almost been a month. It's almost been a month. Wow. So a couple weeks ago, I was asked by this homeschool co-op in my area to speak/perform for Convocation. Convocation for them is a service that they do at least once a month, at the very least at the beginning of the semester. So I was there for the first Convocation, and they have a theme, right? So they take a verse from the Bible and they're like, this is our theme for the rest of the year, and we're going to focus on this. And so the verse that they had was Psalm 119, 160, which is the entirety of your word is truth. Your, capital U, meaning God, right? So they're like, hey, could you come and speak, but since you're a dancer, could you also perform? That seems like the most appropriate thing. And I was like, I agree. So, and also like you teach. So if you could even throw in a little mini lesson, that would be awesome. I ended up doing all three. So I came and I spoke about how, the idea that the Lord's word is truth, right? So what God says is true. And so when the enemy throws something at you and he's like, blah, 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 this is a lie, it's just to distract you from being yourself and affecting the people around you positively, at the very least. There's a whole lot more escalation from there. But bottom line, don't be yourself, don't affect people positively, because we need you to be you. God made you in a specific way. And so what I did was, after I use examples and I talked to people around, in the actual audience themselves, I used some examples and I talked to specific people in the audience because I knew some of the people in the co-op. So after that, I performed it. And so instead of just getting this information and then just trying to gather the information in your head and walk away with the information, humans understand story so much better. And they'll absorb and remember story so much better. So when it comes to dancing, I basically took a bandana and I rolled it up and I tied it around my neck, right? Because one of the things that I said was, when you're distracted, you can't speak the things that you're supposed to speak, right? Or talk to the people that you're supposed to talk to. Like, lies from the enemy silence you. So I have this bandana tied around my neck, not choking me, but tied around my neck, and I double knotted it, right? And so I'm here and I'm dancing, and throughout the piece that I did, I'm trying to pull it off randomly at different moments. And I can tell something's wrong, but I can't get it off myself. So the dance progresses and it changes, and I breathe and I'm like, okay, God, what is it you want me to do? And so I'm surrendering myself to what he has for me and saying, count me in. That was the song. That was the name of the song. Count me in. I'm part. You have a plan. Count me into this plan. I'm part of this, right? I'll do what I need to do. And so near the end of the dance, I basically find the knot, and untie the knot and let it go at the end of the song, and I drop it. And so because I've surrendered to the plan that for my life, I have this freedom to speak and be myself and speak the things that he's told me to say. So all that happens, and so it's not just me doing super technical stuff. I'm feeling this. I'm on stage having this emotion, panicking because I'm choking, or hearing things that are not me and trying to parse out what's true and what's not. And so I'm having this whole emotional 3-minute, 4-minute performance on stage. And so it took the information that I told them as I was speaking, and it shifted it into this emotional realm where it's I feel that. I've been there before. Or that's what I went through. I know that's true. Or I haven't gone through that, but when I eventually go through that, I'll know that what he said is a tool that I can take with me. And so having that experience, dance was the perfect way to communicate this thing, because I'm giving an emotional, I forget which is which. There's ethos, pathos, logos, right? And when you're talking or speaking and you're convincing someone, I want to say it's ethos. But one of those three, it's this emotional plea. How well did you emotionally connect to your audience member? And dance is perfect because there's something in the human brain that says when you're watching someone, you start feeling, what is it? The part in your brain the receptors in your brain that cause you to do that thing, right? So when people watch sports, when they're watching, the parts of your brain that would make you run or throw or be active, they start triggering, right? Same thing for dance, same thing for acrobatics, same thing for all these things when you connect with something, right? So that's why when we see something happen in front of us, we feel the emotional connection because we feel like we've done it. Right, so you don't play for, I don't know, the Saints or the Chargers or whatever, or the Dallas Stars or whatever, but you are watching them, and so you feel like you are a part of this thing, and so that's why you have this emotional connection, because in your mind, neurologically, you did those things, and so when it comes to dancing, when you see someone dance and have the emotions, it's almost the parts of your brain trigger that say, I did this or I feel this. And so obviously your logical side of your brain, your neocortex is like, we didn't actually do this. I know I didn't actually do this. But your like subconscious is like, man, I felt that. So I have now, I don't want to say infected, I have now transferred, let's say the word transferred my emotion from me on stage to that person. So now, when the dancing is done, like I said before, the benefits remain. So now they get up, they go to class, they go home, they go wherever they go, right, as teenagers in high school, and they now have had that emotional experience that happened at convocation. So instead of just getting the information of like, don't believe lies, believe the truth, it's like, oh, I know what it's like to believe in a lie and then transfer into believing truth. So they have that emotional experience, so now they can transfer that into their actual life. So I've done this multiple times in multiple different places, but that was the most recent, where I used dance as a way to transfer benefits to my audience, and they could walk away with a benefit that stays with them in their actual life, whether they dance or not, whether they never dance ever. Hopefully they do, but whether they never dance again or have an experience with dance again, they have that benefit that I transferred to them. Okay, so with all this talk about dance benefits, one of the dance benefits is reaching your goals. So if you want to be a dancer and you're trying to reach those dance goals, I have something called dance coaching. So if you go on my website right now, beathunterdance.com, it's right here, beathunterdance.com, you will see a page that's called dance coaching. And it's different from dance lessons because dance lessons is to learn a specific skill. But when it comes to dance coaching, I'm training you, specifically the person, to reach your specific goals. So you bring some goals to the table, right? Major goals. I want to be a K-pop artist. I want to, own my own studio. I want to travel and teach, or travel and perform on my own, or own my own business, or whatever. You bring those goals in the very beginning, and then I will create a pathway for you to get to those goals, right? So it's going to be a whole lot more of a personal experience, and it's a whole lot deeper and higher level of training. Because, like I said, it's not just training you in a specific skill, it's training you, the dancer, to reach your dance goals. And part of it is content, like I put out for these vlogs or these interviews, so I would keep watching the show even if you do sign up for coaching, but I'll be tailoring them to you specifically. So it's going to be a great time. It's something new that's happening. It should start really soon, and you'll see a sign-up sheet, because I'll probably start in like January 2023. I'm super excited for it, and if you have any questions, reach out and ask anything you need. Have a great day, guys.